demonic angel. As you can tell, I'm filming a few videos on one night. What can I say? I did miss demonic angel. It's really weird to me, but of course that makes a lot of sense. You craft an alter ego almost, and you grow fond of it. So well, I've been talking to lots of people about this. I've probably mentioned this in some way briefly, but I don't think I've ever really just come out with it, I think. So I'll talk to people. I really love talking to people about, like, what's your interest? If I think people are like interested in the occult, basically I'll kind of throw something out there, like scary movies, or even maybe a satanic band or something. If they like the scary movie, we'll keep going and seeing what they might be interested in. And I don't know, it's just kind of based on the vibes a person might give me. But there's a good amount of people out there who are curious about tarot. Like, they like, people go, yeah, I like horoscopes, a lot of people. And then we've got, people interested in tarot. And then they're like, boy, I hear this right away all the time. Boy, I could never, be a tarot card reader because, or, be a really good witch because I could never memorize all the different things with all these different cards. It just looks overwhelming. How could you memorize that? And it's like, I could relate to that when I probably, when I was in my early 20s, when I first picked up a deck, and I just got one at like a hippie occult store, and I liked it, but I didn't love it. Like, I kind of was like, wow, how am I going to memorize, all those kinds of things? And then, a few years later, I just started, I found them again one time. Like, it's like you move a box, and it was in some stuff, like storage kind of stuff. And I just started going through the cards. Yeah, flipping them, reversing them, just looking at them. And for some reason, right away, it just kind of I felt sort of entranced. Like, I just was wanting to look at each card and spend time with it. So later that day, I went out on the porch and just shuffled, and then I picked out a random card. And I thought, at first I was like, nothing really comes to mind about how this card will relate to either what I'm thinking or feeling, what's going on right now. But after just kind of sitting there with it, for a few minutes, I thought, wow, this is actually, there's so much more detail in this card, and it really can apply to such broad situations in many cases of the different cards. And I was like, well, I really love this. So that was kind of the beginning of my love affair with tarot, and not thinking of how am I going to memorize it. It was just sitting with the cards. And I just recommend you guys who are either new, or you just feel like you're not really relating to the cards. Some night, like if you're home all alone and it's unusual or something, and you're just kind of, you got that empty feeling or something, and you just, almost like the void looking for inspiration, you pull out your deck and shuffle a card. Hey, you could just pull out one. That's probably the best, to be honest, instead of just making spreads, because you'll just kind of run yourself down with the stories, I think, if you just try to jump right into spreads. But like one card and just sit with it, I even recommend, you put it under your pillow. Like, if you get it reversed, and that's not the energy that you're looking for, that's not the outcome, the influence, then upright it and put it under your pillow, and you can really look at that as the reverse maybe in that situation as a warning. So now you're aware of it, and you're going to do your part along with, tarot dreaming, tarot pillow dreaming. I think that's like a thing I just invented, tarot pillow dreaming. But yeah, I mean, those all go together. You're doing something physical, you're putting the effort in, that matters, and then you're opening yourself up to the spiritual influences, just being open. Those two things, when they meet, lightning strikes. So I think that that's just a great way to learn tarot, know tarot, and just not judge what you're thinking about. Like, just, come up with your initial kind of feelings and descriptions with it, and then maybe pull it out a month later, same card. See if you feel the same way. Have you learned any, kind of lesson, like, since the last time you took a look at the Five of Pentacles, which I think is the one where they're in the snow. Might be 4. But yeah, the only tarot card with the snow in it, and they're, basically hobos and whatever. It's like, it probably won't mean much to you when you're really, you're going, everything's going really well, and then, not saying next month you'll be homeless, but let's say there's some kind of unexpected financial hardship. That card will now just mean, so it will stand out to you when that's something you're going through. And you'll be able to really relate that. That's kind of how that opened up for me. Just again and again looking at it. And then in the intervening years, and it's never changed. Probably, so now, like, last 12 years or something like that. Just some night I just look through the cards. Especially love to on stormy nights. Related to, it could be how I'm feeling, thinking, how I've seen other people behaving. Anything along those lines, and just kind of, it's almost like crafting stories, and you'd be surprised what you remember the next time you come back to it, because you'll go, oh yeah, I remember that last story we were talking about, relating that, and it's a lot of fun. And then I think that if you do that for a while, it makes it easier later on to throw in, learning numerological significance, or kind of understanding some of the symbolism, like with the zodiac and the biblical symbolism in the tarot, that, is basically what people are talking about when they say, like, oh, it's too much for me to memorize tarot cards, I could never be a reader or a witch. Well, there is that, aspect of it where you're like you have to be an armchair occultist and start putting that all together for yourself and just get curious and read about it. But then, when you have your own take on it, I think it is a lot easier to, go that way and get traditional, get the symbolism down pat in that way. Get the traditional kind of symbolism, where you strip it of a personal story, take a tarot card and just, looking at maybe the wings on a throne, or the color of a cup. And then, you just look at all that symbolism, could be Buddhism, Christianity that's referring to. And then, you can still have that. And then you can know how to put that to a personal story. And I think that's, yeah, so if you're intimidated, don't be. Get a deck. Just start feeling it, looking at it, taking it with you. looking at it at quiet moments, and see what kind of stories and images and things come to mind. You know, now that I know a lot about all the different pagan mythologies, things like that, sometimes those things will come to my mind with a card too. So it's really a lot of fun to get in it for so many years. And I think that, you know, if you really do something all those years, of course you'll really grow into it. But yeah, just jump in like that, and I think that that will make it easier for you. I have talked to people that I've told them to do this, and I even there was one gentleman who would tell me which card he was looking at, and I'd be like, well, what did you think of it? And you know, lo and behold, I saw a new perspective on a card. But it really was making it easier for him to learn tarot, and he, you know, got interested in it. So just, he had like a deck for, you know, many years, but he just goes, well, I keep putting it away, and I want to get into it, but I can't. And so I got him to, you know, practice, people, practice. And that's kind of the moral of the story. Seasoned witch or newbie, you know, you got to keep practicing. So talk to you people later.